All-Star game in particular had its lowest ratings.
Oh, is that right?
Lowest viewership ratings.
I didn't know
in years. And matter of fact, the decline between last year and this year is the lowest it's been since the year 2000. Basketball nowadays has become such about the business of the game and the dollars behind the game and branding. I feel like guys don't want to take an L. I feel like guys don't want to tarnish their brand. If it's not a major financial incentive, it's like, well, I'm already making $20 million this year. What do I got to do that for?
And I totally agree with that. Matter of fact, I know it's almost for a fact that many of these guys don't want to take a loss. They don't want to get an L. I mean, I believe LeBron James, and that's my man. But the fact that he never participated in a dunk contest in 20 years as an All-Star, or 19 years of an All-Star.
He was in the dunking contest for the McDonald's All-American.
Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. But I understand I had heard someone sharing that he basically said that he never really was good at dunk competitions because of being creative with dunks. We know he's a power dunker, but he can dunk it all kinds of ways. He can dunk it on behind his back.
Right.
I mean, he's just really got a lot of skill.
You saw the dunk he had on Sunday.
The tomahawk.
That first play, that was one of the first plays. That was dope. But you know what? But it was also better because it was on defense. Well, defense. But I will say this too, Pops. I also heard something about LeBron in terms of why he never decided to do dunk contests, because remember his rookie season, he put up some really good numbers, but he did not make. That's the only year of his career that he didn't make the All-Star game. And the rumor is that because he felt like he got snubbed that particular year, he didn't show up to All-Star Weekend and said, "I'm not going to participate in the dunk contest." So moving forward after that, he just had no interest in doing it.
And that might be true. He might have just said, "This is my payback to y'all." But come on, man, the fans want to see it.
Yeah, man, for the fans.
He puts on a dunk show before games a lot.
All the time. Yeah. All the time.
So, but I mean, the only other reason I would understand guys not getting in that because they don't want to get an injury. And if they're a valuable asset to their team and you dunk and you hurt your wrist. But these guys been dunking for years. They know how to dunk without hurting their wrist.
And tell me this, back when you were watching guys like MJ and Magic in the All-Star game, do you think that, one, we know they had a different mentality back then. Everything was different.
And when they won the MVP of games, they actually earned it. Right. Because the guys played defense back in the day.
But what I was going to say to you, do you think that back then, maybe because these guys weren't making the type of money that the guys are making today, they were able to focus a little bit more on just bragging rights and just the competitive nature of getting out there and competing?
Well, I don't want you to get it twisted, but they weren't making the kind of money these guys are making, but the cost of living wasn't like it is now. I mean, these guys, some of the top guys were still making good money.
Yeah, but
to them it was good money.
But come on, man. If Michael Jordan at one point, before his last few seasons in the league, if he was making like $3 million for the year just off of basketball, and a guy like Russell Westbrook just made 47.1 this year. At cost of living, it wasn't that. It could not have been that many changes.
Well, Mike was making money on endorsements.
But I don't think
he's a good person to use.
Well, okay, but still, Michael Jordan, at a time when he already had multiple championships, as a basketball player was making $3 million a year, whereas a guy like Russell Westbrook in his 15th season, not what he used to be, made 47.1 this year. I'm just saying, I think that money and the business of the game, and this focal point on branding, and this major focal point on gotta get a championship, gotta get a championship, any means necessary. I think that has put a stain to some degree on All-Star Weekend in the All-Star game.
And if that's the fact, and if that's the way it's going to be, they need to put it to the side.
That's what Rob Parker said. My whole thing is they're not going to do that though.
You might as well not do it. I mean, this is what the football Pro Bowl. A lot of people might not look at it, but they now play flag football.
Those ratings were higher.
Yeah, but those guys had fun. And the thing is, some of the star players actually enjoyed it because they knew they weren't going to get injured. They knew that playing flag football is flag football. It can still be exciting when you see the best in the game throwing passes and running and all that stuff. It's not tackle, but it's not going to be the same. And the thing is, playing a basketball game How do you just play and you go up and down the court and you just letting everybody just run through the middle and you just
You're not even
them?
playing. Listen,
it's stupid,
like
man.
Stephen A. and those guys were saying, we see footage of them going harder in when they play in the summer league.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. If anything, if the star players don't want to play, come up with something else, because the bottom line is that game is not worth playing. What's the coach's role? He sit on the bench with a hot dog and a drink. He said, "Y'all go ahead out there."
Especially when you don't know who you're gonna be coaching until moments before the game.
Yeah, you just put them out there. Okay, I'm gonna deal with you, like my old coach used to say. Frankie, Craig, Carl, Carl. I mean, hold on. Let me get.
But hold on. I will say this though. You would expect, like, think about this, right? As a fan, this is how I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
When you know you're about to tune in for an All-Star game, you have the top, with 24 players in the league competing in this game. Okay. You expecting to see, man, this okay. I want what it, you're excited to see this pickup game. Mm-hmm. It's a pickup game with the best players that the NBA has to offer.
Man, just think about it.
But that's not how they approach it.
They had better pickup games before the season at gyms.
Think about this. Jason Tatum, don't get me wrong. I love Jason Tatum. Great ball player. Mm-hmm. And it was cool to see some of the things that he did on Sunday. But he broke the record. 55 points, most points ever scored in an All-Star game. Got the MVP.
I guess so.
But he got the MVP. And the thing that bothers me about it is we're living in a moment, so we know that that's not the same as someone doing that back in the day, in the 80s and 90s. No. But guess what? 25 years from now, that's going to be in the history books, and that's what bothers me.
But Kobe Bryant's name is on that trophy, and Kobe Bryant would not be happy about seeing this is the kind of All-Star play, because he played.
He talked about
when these
that
guys
when he was living.
competed.
He talked about
they couldn't wait to play against some of the top players in the league, and that was the beautiful thing about it. I mean, sure, they weren't trying to hurt each other, but they were actually playing the game of basketball. I mean, you want to block. You want to, play good defense on the guy, not to let him just have an easy basket. I mean, come on. That just didn't make sense. And I'm sure it's going to be a lot of talk about it. And, hey, I just would rather not even waste my time watching it on a Sunday again, be honest with you. I mean, Saturday was probably better than watching it on Sunday.
Real quick, what the best part of Sunday was, honestly? It was the draft. Now, that actually was cool. The draft that they did right before the game, and matter of fact, the ratings that they compared the ratings last year prior to the game during those introductions compared to this year with the draft, and it was, it increased. And it increased a lot. But that was kind of cool.
These guys got voted in by the fans as the best for the first half of the season. You should at least go there and give them a show. And that was not a show that they gave. And that's why I was really bothered, because these people pay a lot of money for these tickets to these games.
But you do also have a lot of corporate people that are there. I think that it's probably not as many fans as we think that are actually physically there.
I remember some of the games when
even the early 2000s
when Kobe was playing.
Yeah, those games were better.
These guys would battle because they were trying to win, and it was times when LeBron turned it up a notch, man, to get a win.
Those games were better. We're not saying that the games have been trashed the past 20, 25 years. We're just saying in recent years.
Yeah, probably the last few years, at least the last 3-4 years. They haven't been up to par with. I really believe that the NBA guys think that this is a vacation for them, just to have fun.
That's a good point.
They are really thinking. They are really thinking.
That's a good point.
We're not coming out here to get injured. We're not coming out here to get ourselves all stressed.
It's really the only break they get.
Yeah, we coming here to just have fun. But I still think that somebody needs to talk with them, that it's a way to have fun and be competitive without hurting each other, but not to go out there and just be running up and down and everybody standing around while you run by and make a dunk. I mean, that just made no sense.
For the fans, it's not fun.
But
we'll digress.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm Karl Nelson II. This is Karl Nelson Sr. right here.
What's up?
Our show, Like Father, Like Son. It's been on the air since April of 2020. Healthy debates, some really interesting topics, sports topics mainly. But we can also get into, social justice topics and different, family, like father, like son topics, obviously. No pun intended. We just want you guys to hit that subscribe button and become part of our world and become part of our community. So we're looking forward to it.
Love to have you.
Batman, Robin, MJ, Scotty. I'll do that. I'll do that for now.
Y'all find out the truth when you tune in.